It's Labor Day, and while I really hope most of you are out enjoying yourselves, I am here laboring away. Today, I am bringing you another recording of someone who initially was very closed off, said multiple times, this is taking longer than just a few minutes, to one of my agents, and how when I jumped on the call, completely changed the atmosphere and tonality and the vibe, and a couple minutes turned into over an hour. My name is Dana. I run a telesales team for Final Expense Insurance, 100% over the phone. And my whole goal is to help you guys have more sophisticated and stronger sales conversations. So we have a program on our team for new agents where, as you're getting comfortable with the whole process, right? You're working with a new team, a new script, a new manager, a new company, and maybe a new product. You're trying to put it all together, and then you get someone on the phone that's somewhat interested, but is really putting down the hammer and saying, look, I only have a few minutes, and you're supposed to get through a 26-page script. And all of a sudden the anxiety is really high. You're going to skip all the important parts. So what are you going to do to challenge your customer to allow you to give you the time that you need in order to create the value that it takes in order for your customer to feel enough tension to want to make a change? I'm going to play a call and break it down as usual, and I hope you get a lot of value from it. Here we go.
You're welcome. Thank you, Naja.
Hi, good morning, Miss Naja. How you doing today?
Just fine, thank you.
So that's good to hear me. Fine. I'll just quickly introduce myself to you, Naja. My name is Richard Smith, and I'm one of the licensed agents in the state of California. I need to let you know this call may be monitored and recorded today, but I understand you're possibly looking into some life insurance coverage.
I told the gentleman I already have life insurance set up, but he said to listen to you for a couple of minutes, and that's all I have right now.
So right out of the gate, he said to listen to you. It would only take a couple minutes, and that is all I have. Okay, so as a new agent, especially someone who doesn't have a lot of experience in sales or telesales, you're going to immediately hear that, react to that, and your blood pressure is going to go up. For someone that has been doing this for a long time, you know that is just a false objection, because they don't want to get stuck on the phone with someone, dragging them into a long sales presentation. They want an out, right? So it's a false objection. Those people I need to give those people a reason to want to stay on the phone with me and give me another couple minutes, another couple minutes, another couple minutes. Okay. So it's the way that you approach that is really going to determine the outcome of this call.
Okay, that's because you already have something set in place. So you only have this few moments. You say it's options.
I also wouldn't acknowledge the fact that she said I only had a couple minutes, which is what this agent did, reinforced the fact that she only had a couple of minutes, right? I would just let it go and move on.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, I'll be briefly as I can. Is it okay if I just ask you a few questions about what you currently have in place to see if we may be a good fit for you?
5,000 burial.
Okay, you already have 5,000 for.
And that's at $50 a month.
Okay. And as far as I know you have that burial protection in place. Do you feel like that's enough coverage you currently have, or were you interested in
right now?
Coverage?
Well, I don't know what it's going to cost.
Yes, ma'am.
Is the state offering anything at a discount?
Not particularly, different states. Because the company I represent is called Lincoln.
Okay. So there's already quite a lot to break down here. So she already told the agent, I don't know how much it's going to cost. Is the state offering any discounts or programs? And instead of really listening to what she said and trying to understand what she meant by that so that you could help start to solve the problems. We immediately went in, I have no idea how to react to that. I'm just going to tell you who I represent, right? Which completely discards her concerns. And so I want you to remember that as we continue this call.
I'm not sure if you heard of us before.
Mhm.
And
Yes.
we offer funeral protection, and some plans start as low as $15 a month, but it all depends on, of course, your age and health conditions. To be honest with you.
I'm 78 and I am in good health.
Okay, 78 and no health conditions or health concerns. Okay.
No.
Okay, yeah, we may be able to find something that look. So as far as that protection, you so you're paying $50 a month. How long have you had that policy?
I just got it.
Oh, you something you just recently?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and as far as getting funeral protection, what expenses are you most concerned about your family having to pay for one day when you do?
Making my own choices and being able to be the one that says where I want to go. I have to
Okay,
take
yes,
my
ma'am.
mother too because she was cremated also.
Okay, you say your mother was cremated, so I assume that's what you're kind of leaning towards as far as the cremation.
For me, yes.
Okay. Okay, and so God forbid, Miss.
One of the things that you may or may not be picking up on is when there's a lot of really long pausing between the customer's answer and your next question, it's going to make you sound unsure of yourself. You want to either immediately respond or engage with them with an active listening response, or even just have those kind of verbal cues right away, okay, I understand, makes sense. Gotta say something. When there's just nothing, then it sounds like, is this person still there? Do they know what they're talking about? All of this stuff matters when you're setting the stage for the first 5-10 minutes of your call.
Nadia, you were to pass away tomorrow. Who exactly in your family would for going down to the funeral home and paying the cost for a funeral?
My second son.
Your second son? Okay. And I assume, I imagine you probably wouldn't want your second son to pay for those, right?
Obviously.
Yes, obviously, you're absolutely right. So if there was a way you could add additional coverage and get exactly what you're looking for, Ms. Naja, at an affordable cost to you, would that help you out at all?
I don't know. Let's see what you have. It's just taking more
Okay.
than a couple of minutes.
Yeah, if I'm taking up too much of your time, maybe I can call you back at a better time, because I fully understand your situation. That's why I'm kind of asking those questions. But
Right.
if I just understand it correctly, okay. So you currently have $5,000 in protection in place, and you lean towards the cremation route because you don't want your second son to have to pay for those costs associated with your cremation. No. And if you can't find something and get additional coverage, that's something you're definitely open to. But outside of that, is there anything else you're concerned about that we haven't discussed so far?
Does that cover viewing before I'm cremated?
That's
what you have
before you cremated? Yeah, because what we have, it's a funeral protection program where a certain amount of coverage, and it covers the cost of that cremation or any other expenses accrued with your cremation. So it's like having an additional coverage on top of what you already have. Yeah, it depends on the funeral arrangement you have as far as ever go to. They'll have, cremation service or the urn cost and all of that associated, as a total bill for you, for your family or whoever paying those costs for you.
Okay, can we see how much it's gonna cost?
Yeah, absolutely. What I would like to do is just bring one of our underwriters on the phone to help you with explore those options and explain everything to you, okay?
This is getting longer and longer than just a couple minutes.
Yes, it
Hi,
shouldn't
this
take them
is
long to get
Dana,
on the phone.
underwriter with Lincoln Heritage. How can I assist?
And so when I jumped on this call, I was like, oh boy, here we go. Because I was listening in for a few minutes before I jumped on to kind of get like the lay of the land. So we'll see how I was able to turn her around.
Hi, Dana.
Christina,
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yep, I can hear you. Go ahead and tell me who we have on the phone and how I can help.
Yes, I have Ms. Knox, and she already has a protection plan in place to cover funeral costs. It's $5,000 in coverage.
Oh,
She's paying about $50 a month, and she's open to discussing some options with Lincoln Heritage to see if we can help ease that burden, for her. And her date of birth, I actually don't have her date of birth in the system here.
okay.
10/30, 1944.
10/30, 1944. And Rich, just so you're aware, your phone is cutting out a little bit. Are you hearing that as well, Ms. Naja?
Yes, I am.
Yeah. Rich, just so you know, your phone's cutting out. So we're a young 78? Did I get that math right in my head?
Yes, I am. Yes,
Perfect.
ma'am.
Okay, wonderful. So my name is Dana. How's my clarity? Can you hear me okay?
Very good.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you. I know that can be frustrating when you can't hear the person on the other end of the line. So I understand you
Yes,
have
it is.
5,000 in coverage. You want to take care of the cost of a cremation. Is it just a direct cremation, or are you going to have like a viewing and a service as well?
That's what I was talking to him about, but then he switched me over to you.
Got it. Okay.
I hope
Well,
you
no
don't
worries. I will help you
gonna
figure
switch
that
me
out.
to somebody else too.
Nope, the buck stops here. I will make sure that you get all the
Wonderful.
information you need to make an informed decision. And Rich is still on the call. He's not going to go anywhere for training and quality assurance today. So let's figure that out.
Thank
You
you.
have 5,000 now. The average cost of a cremation is anywhere from 1,500 to 3,500. Have you had to pay for a cremation yourself before, or is this all new to you?
No, my mother paid for hers, and I have my mother's ashes in my armoire because she didn't want to leave me even after she was cremated, which is very silly, but that was her wishes. So when I go, she goes with me.
So are you going, or your ash is going to go in that same place, or you guys, where are they going to go?
Wherever I choose to go. She doesn't really have
Wherever you choose.
much to
Okay.
say now, does she?
He doesn't have much to say. I gotcha. Okay. So,
Yeah.
so the cost of cremation is anywhere from 1,500 to 3,500, somewhere in there. It costs about anywhere from 300 to 500, depending on where you pass away, to transfer your body to the funeral home when you pass. So I'm just going to start with let's just pretend the cremation costs 2,500, right in the middle. We'll say about 350 to transport the body. It costs about 750 for embalming, 255 to prepare the body for viewing.
Why are they going to embalm me?
Well, if you want a viewing, then typically they require it.
Why?
Funeral home.
I saw my mother, and she laid in state for 3 days. That let her body mindly shut down all the way. And I saw her, and that was the most peaceful thing that I saw was my mother just before she went into cremation, and she never was embalmed.
Oh, that's wonderful. So as long as your beneficiary
She was
knows what your final
absolutely
wishes are,
beautiful.
I bet
Yes.
she was. Yeah. And as long as your family knows what your final wishes are, they just need to tell the funeral director no. Because that's kind of one of the first questions they're going to ask them is permission to embalm you. So they just need to say no.
There's no reason for that.
Okay.
All the viewing is to say goodbye. That's all it is.
Yeah.
You know, And if I'm in a state that they can see me, fine. If I'm not, then it'll be a closed casket, not a problem.
Absolutely. Okay. So then there will be a cost then to rent a casket or be cremated with a casket, which depending on which route you go, it's typically a couple $1,000s. So I would say the $5,000 would probably cover 99%, if not all of it, assuming the costs don't go up today. I think that's a pretty good place.
Okay, well, the other
If there
two,
is any other,
the other two boys could kick in if it's not enough.
Perfect. So are we just wanting to, so you don't want to get additional coverage. You just want to see if we can maybe save you some money on the policy you just got. Is that what I'm understanding?
Yes.
Okay. Got it. I understand.
And if you can give me a better deal, then I'll just cancel Mutual of Omaha.
Okay.
Because I just started it.
Find out if we can. Yeah, that's pretty common. You probably are getting a lot of calls from people right now. That must be frustrating too.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like somebody's pushing you, you know. The angels and God takes you when you want to go. You have no choice, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I think that in addition to comparing the pricing, because most insurance companies are all going to be about the same price for whole life protection, I think it might be important to understand what happens to the policy when you pass away. And
All right. I've played for a while without any commentary, but I want to let you know that she never once for the rest of our call said, this is taking longer than a few minutes. I only have a few minutes. In fact, when I jumped on the call, the entire energy of the conversation changed. I was showing empathy. I was talking a little bit at a faster pace. There was very, very little pausing between her answers and figuring out what I wanted to say next. So the confidence level and the energy that I exuded in my communication with her is really what caused her to lean in and want to hear more. Okay. If you have to rewind and listen to the beginning part of the call with Rich and then fast forward to hear the beginning call of me, if you can just master the confidence that you have to have when you get someone on the phone, that by itself will allow people to not say, this is taking longer than a few minutes. She did not say that to me one time. Let's continue.
some of these things are important to you or not. And ultimately that's up to you. So, because the claims process is what can be a little bit tricky. When you pass away, then your family has to wait for the death certificate and then file the claim with Mutual of Omaha or wherever you have your policy with in order to start that process, right? So that typically takes a week or two to get the death certificate and file the claim. From there, it can sometimes take another week for the claim to be received, processed, reviewed, and approved, and the money sent to your family. So on average,
so they have to pay for it first?
Right. Now, I have a way to avoid that so they don't have to pay for that first, if that is something that you think would be important for you to maybe have.
Yeah.
Okay. So Lincoln Heritage.
Okay. So in there, of course, this isn't going to be applicable to all life insurance agents. The main difference that is going to set a Lincoln Heritage policy apart from a company like Mutual of Omaha is the fact that the Funeral Consumer Guardian Society goes above and beyond when it comes to how we are going to protect the beneficiaries from the possible delay of payout, which is typically about 4 to 6 weeks, sometimes sooner, but sometimes longer, as well as the advocacy program that the FCGS provides. I feel like I don't need to go into the rest of the call because there's plenty of videos where I talk and educate people about the differences with Lincoln and with her. Ultimately, the rest of this call, I'm talking to her about what would happen if it did take a while to get paid? Would they have the ability to come out of pocket with the money? If there was a way I could help solve that for you, would that make a difference in the outcome of your kids? Same method with, if I could save you some money on the cost of the cremation by having a program that would shop around and call around and compare pricing for your family to make sure they're not overcharged or taken advantage of, would that help? Because ultimately, the whole reason that people are getting a life insurance policy for funeral and final expenses is to make that day a little bit easier for their family. And it is more than just the money. Okay, we are not selling life insurance policies. We are selling the outcome of what the life insurance policy provides. And in our case, it is light years beyond money. It is the peace of mind that they have the ability to get the money in under an hour from the time that the FCGS gets a call, right? We don't even need the death certificate in order to make sure that they have the money to pay for the funeral costs and final expenses. So all of that in setting the stage up for creating a problem, identifying with the customer that they in fact agree that there is a problem, and then me coming in and solving that problem for them is going to make the customer feel like our solution is better than the solution that they got. We did end up being a few dollars more expensive, but it was her choice as to whether or not she was going to pay the extra dollars in order to have that extra protection for her kids. So I am going to fast forward to closer to the end of the call because I did have to pre-overcome and pre-handle an objection she gave me about the banking information. When she signed up with the Mutual of Omaha policy, she refused to provide her bank account information to the agent or representative. So what they did was send her some information by mail, and she had to mail in the check, which she had not yet even done. Her policy had not even gone into effect because she hadn't sent in the check. One of the things you guys have to remember when someone says they already bought a policy is there is going to be a little bit of insecurity in their purchase because I know what I'm up against. I know how other life insurance agents sell. I don't care what company they're at. They are selling for the approval, not the foundational, like being okay with, yes, this is the policy that I want to get. So because I know that there's always doubt in when people buy, we can kind of take that doubt and move them into a conversation. And the reason she said she only had a few minutes is because she doesn't want to have these conversations. But I gave her a reason to want to talk to me. And it ended up being a really fun, enjoyable conversation where we were laughing. We were very sarcastic with each other. She really trusted me and everything that I had to say and felt that I was going to put her family in a better position. So I'm going to fast forward to the part where I had to pre-handle the banking information. And by the time I needed it, it was no problem. She gave it to me without even hesitation at all.
Well, you want to have a point of contact when you're doing business with someone, especially if we're going to be being the ones controlling the monthly payments from your bank account. You want to be able to call someone directly instead of always calling customer service and, talking to someone different every time who doesn't know your story. So,
well, did you sign up for life?
Did I sign up for life? Oh, here? Are you kidding?
Yeah, that you're going to work there?
Anywhere.
Yeah.
That's Rich, who's still on the phone listening. Tell Naja how dedicated I am to this company and to what we do.
We eat and breathe Lincoln Heritage.
That's right.
Oh my goodness. We have roots
here's my
planted.
Story for you.
Okay.
My roots are planted. Okay. So here's why it's important for you to have the insurance company control the payment. And because I have seen it more times than I can count. Because insurance companies, they are very black and white. And they have their rules, and the rules are not gray. Okay. They're very black and white. So if you run into a situation, God forbid, where you're the one controlling the payment and something happens to you, or you don't die, but you're just in the hospital or in a rehab facility, or you know, you're unconscious, something happens and you do not send in your payment and you've paid for 5 years and you miss your payment and you miss it again, your policy will get canceled.
Wow.
So I
Okay.
would never, ever put you in a situation where you could possibly lose it because of something that was out of your control.
I like to be in control because I was firstborn.
I can tell you like to be in control.
And I was a general contractor too in California. Yes,
You were a general contractor?
yes. Yes, I was
Yeah, you do like to
retired.
be in control. I'm in
Yes, I
California
do.
too, by the way, not too far away from you. I'm in
All right. So all I'm trying to do is create some doubt that if you don't let go a little bit of the control and trust somebody to manage that monthly payment, you are putting yourself at risk for that the possibility that your policy could cancel if you get into a position where you fail to make the payments. And so creating doubt and having them really sit in that doubt for a second, it has to be a good enough reason for them to let go of that control and feel like they can trust you deducting that money. So that's sometimes all it takes, but you can't just, that using that by itself is not enough. She trusted me, she liked me, we were connecting, she looked at me as the expert, I was educating her, she really loved how the FCGS was going to be there for her kids, and there was no way I was going to let a bank account issue affect her wanting to move forward with us. So that was before I even asked her for the bank account information. I preset it up to where I said, now you're going to have to know this if we're going to be the ones controlling the monthly payments. And by the time we got to that point, it was no issue. She picked her policy amount, she gave us the banking info, and we were off to the races. So for me, it's really not rocket science to get someone to lower their walls and lean into what you have to say and feel good about doing business with you. It is 100% contingent on you. It's all you. And you have to figure out how to get out of your own way and give the customer on the other end of the phone a reason to trust you, a reason to lean into you, a reason to want to give you another couple of minutes, and then another couple of minutes after that. But if you are too afraid of the retaliation from your customer, and you give in to the fact that I only have a couple of minutes, and then you continue to acknowledge that and offer callbacks and take the easy way out, you will not have as much success as you want, right? There was no way this woman was going to end up in a sale if I hadn't jumped on the call. Okay, but that's what we're doing. We're doing this to teach you tools and techniques that you need to use in order to get a customer like that into a close. And part of it isn't anything you can script, right? It's your energy, it's your tonality, it is your confidence, it is like the energy that you bring to the phone, because all we have at the end of the day is our voice. That's it. So how are you going to use it in a way that compels someone to not want to hang up on you? Right? What are you going to do? You have to practice your delivery of your presentation. You have to practice your questions that you're going to ask. You have to be prepared for every possible answer that you're going to get when you ask the questions that you ask. You have to be the expert. So that is it. We are going to end it here, and I will see you on the next video.